Trading of goods in the ancient Roman Empire. Production and transportation of foods dominated the trading industry. There was also a vast exchange of other goods from all parts of Europe, Asia, and Africa. The prosperity of the empire and many of its citizens generated a need for luxurious and exotic imports. Silks from China and the Far East, cotton and spices from India, ivory and wild animals from Africa, vast amounts of mined minerals from Spain and Britain, fossilized amber gems from Germany, and slaves from all over the world discovered that all roads did indeed lead to Rome. The Roman Empire was one of the greatest and most influential civilizations in the world history. It began in the city of Rome in 753 BC and lasted for well over 1,000 years. During that time, Rome grew to rule much of Europe, Western Asia, and Northern Africa. Here are a few major historically significant events in the founding and declining of the ancient Roman Empire. The city of Rome was founded in 753 BC. Legend has it that the twin sons of Mars, the god of war, named Romulus and Remus, founded the city. Romulus killed Remus and became the ruler of Rome and named the city after himself. Rome was ruled by kings for the next 240 years. Rome became a republic in 509 BC. The last king was overthrown, and Rome was then ruled by elected officials called senators. There was a constitution with laws and a complex republican government. Hannibal invaded Italy in 218 BC. He led the Carthage army in his famous crossing of the Alps to attack Rome. This was the part of the Second Punic War. Julius Caesar became the first dictator of Rome in 45 BC. He made his famous crossing of the Rubicon and defeated Pompey in a civil war to become the supreme ruler of Rome. This signaled the end of the Roman Republic. He was assassinated in 44 BC on the Ides of March by Marcus Brutus. They hoped to bring back the Republic, but the civil war broke out. The Roman Empire began in 27 BC as Caesar Augustus became the first Roman emperor. In ancient Rome, the Roman citizens were divided up into two distinct classes, the plebeians and the patricians. The patricians were the wealthy upper class people. They were the ruling class of the early Roman Empire. Only certain families were part of the patrician class and you had to be born a patrician. The patricians were only a small percentage of the Roman population, but they held all the power. Plebeians and patricians did not mix socially. Julius Caesar was a patrician, but he was sometimes considered a champion of the common people. Other citizens of Rome were referred to as plebeians. Plebeians were the farmers, craftsmen, laborers, and soldiers of Rome. In the early stages of Rome, the plebeians had very few rights. All of the government and religious positions were held by patricians. The patrician made the laws, owned the lands, and were the generals over the army. Plebeians couldn't hold public office and were not even allowed to marry patricians. Starting around 494 BC, the plebeians began to fight against the rule of the patricians. This struggle is called the conflict of the orders. Over the course of around 200 years, the plebeians gained more rights. They protested by going on a strike. They would leave the city for a while, refuse to work, or even refuse to fight in the army. Eventually, the plebeians gained a number of rights, including the right to run for office and marry patricians. One of the first concessions that the plebeian got from the patricians was the law of the 12 tables. The 12 tables were the laws that were posted in the public for all to see. They protected some basic rights of the Roman citizens regardless of their social class. Eventually, the plebeians were allowed to elect their own government officials. They elected tribunes who represented the plebeians and fought for their rights. They had the power to veto new laws from the Roman Senate. One of the Rome's most famous senators, Cicero, was a plebeian. Because he was the first of his family to be elected to the Senate, he was called a new man. A third social class in the Roman society was the slave. Around one third of the people living in Rome were slaves in general.